crikey, I apologise, it's been a while since we have done this. We're finally back because there has been a bit of news from the National League. The season is over. Been waiting over the last few weeks for a bit of news to come out of non-league football as to how the season is going to end in the National League and National League North and South. And it's finally happened now. The National League have said that they are going to end the season. That doesn't include the playoffs. They are still going to decide what is going to happen in terms of playoffs and promotion and relegation and that sort of thing. So we don't know 100% what's going to happen yet in that regard. The National League finally released a statement on Wednesday, the 22nd of April. And in summary, it basically just said that the clubs were asked to support an ordinary resolution on the 9th of April to end the playing season. With almost 90% of responses returned, it is evident a clear majority of clubs are in favour, including the majority of clubs in each of the National League, National League North and National League South divisions. In the knowledge that the ordinary resolution has passed, the League's board has chosen to communicate the decision now and before the last few responses are received, which will not change the outcome, to enable clubs to make business decisions with greater clarity as soon as possible. The National League CEO Michael Tattersall said, "At a time when the entire country is wrestling with the devastating impact of COVID-19, the cancellation of the remaining normal season matches brings a degree of certainty to our clubs coping with the business implications of the virus. In consideration of the very serious and unprecedented national health emergency caused by the coronavirus, National League, National League North and National League South football activities have been suspended since the 16th of March. The options concerning the sporting outcomes of the 1920 season remain under careful and timely consideration, and further updates will be given in due course." So basically that means that they are not committing to ruling out promotion and relegation. I think that this is the right thing for the National League to do. They got a lot of criticism early on with postponing their games later than pretty much the entirety of the rest of the football pyramid. In the Premier League, Football League and a lot of the leagues below the National Leagues, games were postponed on the weekend of the 14th of March. However, the National League decided to go ahead and allow fixtures to take place. However, a lot of the games were postponed anyway because a lot of the clubs had people that were either experiencing symptoms, or some clubs just didn't really want to play the games and didn't want to put their players and staff at risk. So a lot of games were postponed for one of those two reasons, and that was a bit controversial. However, I do think that ever since then the National League have actually been quite sensible with how they have dealt with things publicly anyway. They've not rushed into anything. They've waited to see what the Football League and Premier League are doing, and with the Football League and Premier League still waiting even longer and not really giving any sort of clarity at all, the National League have now stepped in and said, right, this is what we're going to do. We've given the clubs the opportunity to cast their vote and give their opinions, and that is ideally the best thing that could happen. The fact that 90% of the clubs have given the same opinion to end the season now is very, very good. Obviously, that is a massive unanimous decision pretty much of one thing happening, so the majority of people are going to be happy with that. Obviously, the next stage is to decide how the season actually ends, whether it's going to be on points per game, whether it's going to continue with allowing the playoffs to happen, or whether there's going to be promotion, relegation completely cancelled or not. Who knows what's going to happen, but I think it's also wise of the National League to leave that option open. In cancelling the rest of the season's fixtures, that allows clubs to plan a little bit better. Obviously, we still don't 100% know whether next season is going to start when it's supposed to, whether that will be kicked back a bit. Journalists on Twitter actually suggested that games in the National League, National League North and South actually won't resume until January. That could be absolutely devastating for clubs, and I just don't see how the majority of clubs are going to survive in that circumstance. But even if up to that point games are to continue but played behind closed doors, I don't see that being a positive situation either for clubs, because these clubs, the majority of them, will rely heavily on gate receipts to be able to pay their staff and players. Fans haven't got the opportunity to go to games, then you could look at potentially streaming them online and paying for access to those streams. That's a way that fans could help put a bit of money into the club and to keep the fans a little bit happy. But a lot of supporting football clubs in non-league is actually going to the games, getting involved in the atmosphere and supporting your local team with the people on the terraces. If you're just going to watch the game from your bedroom or from your living room and pay for a stream for it, that's no different to going and watching the Premier League. That then just takes away the appeal of non-league football in a lot of cases. So to be honest, the fans aren't going to be happy with that as an option at all, I don't think. So football just needs to get back as soon as it is safe to do so. Obviously right now it is not safe to do so. You can't just go in and be like, right, okay, so we need to keep these football clubs alive, so we need to restart football earlier than it needs to be safe. then that's going to be completely irresponsible, because it is more important to save these people's lives and not put people at risk, rather than just prioritising getting football re-going again. But at the same time, the entire economy is going to suffer if this does go on longer and longer and longer, which is why it's so important that people stay at home and wash their hands and don't do anything unnecessary, because that means that all of this is going to be over quicker. Less people are going to lose their lives. There's going to be less amount of time they're going to have to all sit in self-isolation without football, without all of the things that we enjoy in life. So that's why it's so important to stay at home and not take any risks. Protect the NHS, save lives, and that's what it's all about. And hopefully football will be back not very soon, but sooner than some people are fearing. Hopefully sooner than January, that's for sure. But yeah, I hope you guys and your families are all okay. Really hope that you continue to stay healthy. That is really important. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on the National League decision in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit the like button and click subscribe as well, to stay up to date with more news from non-league. When new news comes out from the National League and other leagues in non-league as well, I will keep you guys up to date as much as I possibly can. Obviously, there's not been any videos in a little while before this one, but that was simply because there wasn't really anything to do any videos on. There's not really been any news up until the last couple of days. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this news in the comment section down below. I hope to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.